Welcome to the Penguin Podcast, brought to you by Penguin Facilities Management.
Guys, thanks very much for joining me. A privilege to have you both come and join us for this discussion. So, do you want to introduce yourselves first, and just let everybody know who you are and who you represent?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Matt Pollitt. I'm a director in response for the Innovation, Energy and Carbon section, and part of that was the road-based system. That's how we met you initially, wasn't it? Through an introduction that way, and we told you the bigger picture story and brought in along Save a Warrior.
Yeah.
Which leads over to me. My name's Tom Burgess. I'm co-founder and joint director of Save a Warrior UK. We're a suicide prevention programme. Doing our best to bring around a zero suicide society.
No, amazing. So let's start with response first. So tell us a little bit about response and the amazing work that you guys are doing and what the mission is.
I'm basically involved in response through the energy part of it, the pillar, sustainability. So that's basically what I'm functioning on. And from that, we've got the road-based system, and part of that function is that is to help businesses be sustainable and resilient in their own right. And the back-end function of that is the profit's going to go into the real-world application of saving a warrior. So RAMS is built up on through Avantel, Moodoo, and real-world application humanitarian, which is Save a Warrior. So what we do is trying to capture veterans who need help, who can source their real help in real world, engage with AI and actually meet that. And if they get to a stage where they think I need real world help, is that this is where Save the Warrior is there to capture those people and deliver that help for them.
Yeah, and what a great way to do it. In actually, you're doing two brilliant things, that you're using sustainability and trying to help the planet, help the people, to deliver something that is to give back into something that's truly important. So Save the Warrior, obviously a subject that is hard to discuss. Obviously, we've just heard regarding Gareth attending a funeral, so it's real shit. Mm-hmm. So just tell us a little bit, about Save the Warrior.
Gotcha. It's a program that stems over from the US. A gent called Jake Clark mustered it up a little over 13 years ago now. In that 13-year period, it's iteratively evolved and grown into what it is today. There's just over 3,000 men and women that have been through the program with a 99.8% success rate. So sadly, of that 3,000 that have been through, 8 have gone on to actually complete their plan. But I would still argue that that's a pretty good success rate in curing essentially suicide. We have brought it over to the UK, both myself and Adam Gwinnell, and both of us have been through the programme and sat the seat. I went over in July 2023 on the understanding that it was going to be a recce, and in full denial about what was going on for me internally as well. And then 5 minutes before they opened the doors to let us in, I had this little tap on the shoulder and a feeling like I was in the right place, and walked in and dealt with stuff that I said that I'd take to the grave and never tell another human being about.
Yeah, no. So challenges, there's lots of them. So veterans, first responders that have come out of the service, what's their biggest challenge when they come out of the service? Me personally, my dad was in the British Army, and when he came out, he struggled to settle, which totally ruined, obviously, family life, ruined his marriage, and till him passing away at 60 years old, he still didn't settle. And what's the real challenges? Because to me as him being my dad, that was a challenge. He never was able to settle. He moved. Yeah. So just describe some of the challenges.
Well, I mean, you took the word straight out of my mouth. that tectonic movement of life through the military. Whatever your cap badge, whatever your service, we're designed and programmed and trained to be a movable resource. So definitely leaning into my own experience, I think I had MFO boxes. I was really good at packing up my life and moving within 72 hours. When I left the military, after 6 months of settling in Putney, I was like, we need to move. So we moved to Kingston. We was there for a year. Oh, we need to move. We moved again further down the A3 to Portsmouth. 6 months there. Oh, we need to move. And for some reason, that cadence followed me out of the service. And now I've, found my place and my wife, and we're settled where we are. But in terms of the challenge, there's certainly an identity crisis on top of an identity crisis. Because you go into the military, you become that parasmock, that uniform, that cap badge, whatever it is, you become that, you fit into that mould. Leaving that behind, you have to sort of rediscover who you are, because you can't go to the office space and start, shooting the shit and talking about bomb bullets and Afghan and whatever it is, because they don't get that. Mm-hmm. And they'll listen to your story maybe once or twice and, oh, that's a cool story. After the third and the fifth or the 10th time, when you're one too many jars at the bar, like, Tom's on it again, and they part. So you then have a identity crisis on top of an identity crisis, wondering where you fit into the world, on top of the lasagna effect of trauma that happened while serving, on top of what we talk about as Save a Warrior, formative trauma.
Yeah.
You start to have a conversation with yourself. Why don't people like me? What am I doing wrong? Where do I fit in? What's actually going on here? It's all you. And then there's another question. Should I die or not? Yeah. And sometimes people follow through with that. Sometimes they live with it for a long time and have a general bad taste in their mouth about who they are. Yeah. And make silly decisions in life. Yeah. Drink, smoke, take drugs, risky behaviours, and have a long, drawn-out suicide. Or it's a quick, sharp ending. Now, we can break in the middle of that just with honest, open and willing. Those 3 words. And really have them ask a big question. Are they done suffering? Have they gone down that rabbit hole enough and realise, actually, I'm in a bit of pain here, I need to look at this. Yeah. So they're the 2 questions that we'll ask them on a rostering call.
Yeah. No, I get that, as a child. Totally got it. So response, I think what you guys are doing is amazing. These guys are a charity. They need partners. They need, funds to be able to do what they're doing. Just talk through how response and the works that you guys are doing, particularly in your area, that are helping to give back to Save the Warrior.
Yeah, so a little touch on it, which I didn't mention earlier, really, is that Gareth and myself are veterans as well. And Gareth basically created response out of understanding that some systems just don't work anymore and there's not actually something being delivered. And so that was the point, was creating this model, an ecosystem where we can actually deliver real change. So through that application, Project Rams was born, and this is where we can really capture the veterans and first responders to start with, because veterans filter out and go into the first responder roles as well, police, fire. They go to construction, they go into anywhere. It's just that, where do we find them and where do we capture these guys? So there's a bigger audience where we can actually find these people, and they answer that call, and who's going to answer their call now when they need help? Yeah. So that's the big thing, the big message, and it's a big powerful feeling that is actually to be able to give something back. And part of Save the Warrior is that we came back for you, and that just let that sit there, is that we came back for you. So no.
So turning it to civil life, because that's where we all are now. We're hearing the same stories every single day in our workplaces. for me, how can we support, and what's our expectation as as employers, to be able to support the workplace when it comes to mental health and well-being.
I don't know if to answer that.
Honest, open, willing.
Honestly, we're winning.
That's it. I mean, and said to you previously, it's like there's got to be a display of the right thing to do.
Yeah.
That culture within the organisation, whatever that is, the leadership have got to be able to follow through on their own advice. Yeah, we've got this really nice shiny thing that you can have in holistic and well-being, and all of that's great. Like, but if it doesn't actually follow through from the top down, and it's shown that actually there's no, we're not going to shame you into seeking help. It's actively available there to be a benefit to the business, because healthy people, better business, and all that. But the benefits of the workplace will then filter out into the people's homes, and then the children and the families that are in that home. They'll see mum and dad going into the workplace, coming back, not fragged, and happy and healthy, and then there's a happy home as well. So if you are an employer out there, take your own advice, lean in, have the courage to look at your own life, and are areas of my life unmanageable? Am I leading by example here? There's power in vulnerability, and showing people what to do, instead of telling them.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree with that. I was at an event yesterday with Howarths, who were an employment law solicitors.
Okay.
And the subject they put on was regarding perks. And it was an interesting conversation, because we within our business, we have so many different generations. Not every employee wants the same perk, but there's a big trend at this moment regarding perks around well-being, mental health, and all the rest of it. So it is being talked about at the top, and it's how them, is a gym membership the right, the right thing for somebody? Yeah, it helps their well-being, it's keeping them fit, the rest of it. But what else can we do? What can we can give them? We give all our staff a well-being hour, and it's an hour on pay, and it's got to be used in their work time to go do something that betters themselves. Is that enough, or should we be looking for more to get that from the top down? Because end of the day, it's about the people. Yeah, it's about the right culture, and we know if you have the right people, you have the right culture, you will get growth, and you will be profitable. So there's a good enough reason to do it, but why are employers not doing it? Is it because they don't understand?
I was going to say, on that one, that's one of the things that happen, especially from sponsors, that where is there actually something to do? If someone's actually falling, where do you catch them? So there are always mechanisms great in place, and the gym's really good to support your staff and everything like that. But when you actually catch somebody, saying you can support them, but actually being able to do it is a different thing. And this is where, say, the Warrior is there to actually do something, actually deliver something. With 500 days of support for somebody, so it's 72 hours of a container, basically a retreat.
Yeah.
And then it's 500 days of support afterwards, and who else does that? And that's the real world application. Is like, yes, there is the things in support in that, but then what we start noticing is people start going to cycles of being signposted, going round and round and round, and what actual support is actually getting delivered. Whereas this is where we filter down, and when someone needs that support, they can come to Save Warrior, and that's they get delivered with support.
Yeah, and I think that's that's a big difference between what you guys are doing and what's in the the commercial world. Is there is that level of support. You're trained. Yeah, you know when that person's in that position, and you know when the right moment to step in. Whereas within the commercial world, whether you're an office space, a factory, they're working in high pressure environments, but there's not always that level of support.
Connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you know someone's going through pain?
Yeah.
It's in their eyes.
Yeah.
You'll see it.
Yeah. How do we change that culture, though, in the workplace?
Well, great messaging, education, show, don't tell mentality, showing people the right way to go, leading them through these things, having more than one thing that the people can do. Save a Warrior is great, but we're not the only tool on the island. There are audiences that we don't serve currently. We're expanding, and we will do in the future, but we might not be the right fit for everyone. And that's certainly one of the questions that we ask in our rostering process. We make it quite plain that we might not be the right fit for you. And if we're not, we've got a list of good companies that we've spent nearly 24 months getting to know, understand, work with, have a conversation with, that we can go either on a local scale or on a national scale. Let's put you in touch with these guys because they are good people.
Yeah. So, going to more of a cheery cheery subject is we've obviously shouted out to you guys and we're excited that we're able to form a partnership. There's things that we're doing that will complement you, and there's definitely things you doing that will complement us, and that will allow us to give back to charities like Save the Warrior. So there is that desire to build them partnerships, which is fantastic. What does a partnership to you look like? To them people out there, what does a partnership look like?
People use partnerships either business term or personal terms, but it's about actually partnership for us is about actually being with people that are going to create a difference, that want to make change and want to be part of a solution, not just to be there for profit and driven by that, but driven by goal and change. That's where we're going to really make an impact. And it's not just about, when I say Warriors, that's a big mechanism, a big tool, and that's just a part of demonstration where our passion lies. But within the corporate world and yourselves is that lineage, and we've got that connection of that, let's make a change, let's be disruptors, we got the opportunity to do something, let's do it. And so that's where that's it. I love the word disruption, because from day one when we set up Penguin as a business, the thing that that we said originally was we're here to to disrupt. We're here to make sure people know who we are. So I love that. It's one of the things that as soon as we met, we connected, and the conversations we've had. I think every single conversation. Not at one point have we actually discussed the commercials. That's true.
Of what you guys are doing. Penguin and myself and Ed and Ben, who you've met. We don't know what the commercials are, but what we do love is the story behind it, what it's about. We give a shit. And that to me is what a true partnership should look like. We know that somewhere along the line there will be money to pass hands, because that's how businesses work and that's how businesses operate. And we shouldn't be embarrassed to talk about profit, because that's how we survive and pay the bills. So how can businesses then, like Penguin, support like your charity and what you're doing?
We have got a mechanism called the Community Compassion. It's a very simple ask, a small monthly piece to come towards Save a Warrior to sponsor a seat. One seat for one man on one cohort is £2,500. So you can break that 2.5 down over 12 months and know that you've actively contributed to one person going through our program a year. Or if you're doing very well out there, you could do more. It's up to you. We've got all of those mechanisms available on our website, and it starts with a good conversation. You can't do a good deal with a bad person. You've got to have some form of common ground, friendship, agreement, partnership, all of that stuff. If it feels clunky in the beginning, they're like the coincidental warning signs that maybe something's off. So if there isn't that warmth at the beginning, then generally it's not going to go according to plan. So just follow your gut. So you'll probably be listening to this and thinking, that kind of dings a bell inside the head, inside the heart. Let's have a conversation. And it starts there.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then from looking at it from beyond that, that financial donation. Yeah. Response. Yeah. What does that look like? How are you doing what you guys do to put them donations into?
Well, as you've seen, part of the energy part is one of the pillars in sustainability and part of response and goes into Project RAMS. But what happens because of the bigger ecosystem is that profit share goes back into that and drives that change. And so that profit share goes into change and goes into charities like Save a Warrior. And we're not just limited to Save a Warrior. Long term through the ecosystem, we're going to support the wider charity community. So it's not just going to be just one-stop shop. It's about let's make a real change.
Yeah.
We would want to see where that money goes though. So we're not just going to donate money and see it goes endlessly. We want to see where it goes, and if it needs to be a project delivered, we'll support and deliver that project with them. So make sure it goes to the right place, right purpose, and make a real change.
Yeah.
Just by aligning and working with Project RAMS, it happens.
Yeah.
There is a mechanism, a vehicle to coin the word that's used. It's all set up in that way, in that ecosystem. So just by partnering and putting stuff down through those mechanisms, you're going to save a life anyway, whether they know it or not. But it's RAMS for a reason. S is at the end of it. Save a Warrior. It's
something you just touched on as well earlier, is that by working with us as well and our partnership as well, it's just that what we can deliver, and you'll be part of making that change too. It's just that how the economy, the circular economy works for us in our ecosystem is it will come back around, and that's why our partnerships mean so much to us. When that is happening, it's a bigger picture. It's not just like we're doing a transaction like we talked about. Is we are making a difference. So.
Yeah. So for them that are watching, what do they need to do?
Wow. You can reach out to Save a Warrior independently, or you can just be part of the bigger ecosystem and just be involved and watch our change happen. So,
I'd say it's a door that swings both ways. We're having conversations with people that, so we've got a co-working space open in Fareham Shopping Mall. Just in the conversations that I've had to have that open, I've got a look into the room on the other side, and I know some of the things that Matt can do through his work can actively benefit Fareham Borough Council if they wanted to have that conversation. That there, whether they know it yet or not, that then comes back around to help someone down the line, down the river. So we will push people over to there because they want to be innovative and thinking forward and doing the right thing in terms of the environment and their people. We know a really good bunch of people that can do that. And then that sort of swings back our way. So it's a win-win-win. And a win at the end. I think.
No, brilliant. Well, thank you. it's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully, them that are watching, it does touch their hats, and we start having some good conversations, and I'm looking forward to see where the future goes with our partnerships.
Yeah.
So, but thank you.